Hey everybody, John Hand with the Pulsing Cinema in the darkness, but that is the way I like it. I've just got out of a Alamo Drafthouse screening of Hitchcock's The Birds. They're showing the film in celebration of their distribution of the Noel Marshall, Tippi Hedron late 70s film Roar, which is looks like a hoot, looks like a crazy movie, lions and tigers and living with a family and all kinds of crap. The Birds, this is the second time I've seen The Birds in maybe about a year. A little bit over a year ago I saw The Birds. And it still strikes me as such a unique and unusual film. I guess it was one of the first eco-terror films, the first nature goes wild film, the first killer animal film, and you know, and throughout the 70s, that genre was exploited with different kind of films, everything from like Grizzly to Night of the Lepus to Food of the Gods, to even Long Weekend. I guess Long Weekend is the closest to Hitchcock's The Birds, because I always you know, you don't hear much about Hitchcock's The Birds. Everybody goes crazy over Psycho, and The Birds is kind of played down. I love The Birds. It's just such a unique and uncompromising film that allows you to see the vision of Hitchcock. I love the characters in the Birds, from the Rod Taylor character to Tippi Hedron's Melanie Daniels. It was quite curious that Tippi Hedron's character is named Melanie in this film, and then she eventually gave birth to a daughter and named the daughter Melanie. I don't know what that had to, or maybe I think she already had the daughter, right, at this point. No, because that was over 20 years before that. No. Anyway, yeah, I'm showing my lack of knowledge on the world of Tippi Hedron. I love the three-dimensional characters in this film. You know, I mean, you don't really see that a lot in horror films or in films in general. You know, they're cardboard cookie-cutter victims. And, you know, I love the way that Hitchcock creates this small town, just this small bodega bay, you know, with the school teacher, Mrs. Hayworth. Mrs. Hayworth was hot. And Mrs. Hayworth, probably hotter than Tippi Hedron. I don't know. You had the blonde and the brunette, the salt and pepper there going on. But yeah, the way that the slow build and just the enjoyment of it, and then the subtle things with the birds where they come in and you know, and then the bird attacks, you know, from the rhythm and the pacing of the bird attacks from the first to the second, and then the final attack at the house, which is basically almost completely suggested just with the noise, the sounds, an incredible early electronic music from Oscar Soledad, the electronic score. The score of the sound of the birds, which there's no traditional Bernard Herrmann, you know, signature Hitchcock score in this film. There's no music to Mickey Mouse the action and tell you how you should feel about this. You're just left in this kind of weird weird Twilight Zone where you know, you don't know really why these things are happening, why these things are occurring. You're placed in you're right in the perspective of these characters who are going through these events, these terrific, terrifying, horrible events, and why are they going on? What's happening? You know, I love it's technically a very courageous film with the lack of a traditional score and the use of overlapping dialogue and multiple scenes of dialogue and from the foreground to the background, phone conversations overlapping with conversation with other characters. It's very interesting stuff, you know, and each time you watch the film you pick up new details, you pick up new ideas. Of course, it's a Hitchcock film. There's always the mention of mother, there's always the the mommy issues, the Oedipal issues, that dynamic which sinks into every film. You know, Hitchcock. I mean, Psycho, of course, that's the big one. But there's always mother issues in the Hitchcock films. And this one, I mean, and I love the character of the mother in this film. I mean, she's just you know, you see the dynamic between the Tippi Hedron and Rod Taylor, and then the mother who doesn't want to be abandoned, and then that scene where with the guy with his eyes pecked out and involves the mother. You sense the terror, and you're invested in these three-dimensional characters so much that you just go along and you feel this woman's terror at the sight. You know, which was like, I mean, my God, this was like 7, 8 years before Blood Feast. And it's a gore, and there are elements of the film, but there's some gore shots in this film. There's some gore shots in this film that are as violent and explicit as anything Herschel Gordon Lewis made. Absolutely, they're not lingered on. You know, that was of course, the gore film. But I mean, yeah, definitely, it's very, very striking to watch this movie, and you go, wow, there's some gore in this film. Where, you know, an early '60s film, mainstream studio picture with some gore. But I mean, that's just another thing that is so kind of nonconformist and unusual and unique about this film. There's just so many. It's just a round peg and trying to fit into that square hole. It is just such a unique, interesting film. Rod Taylor is fucking Rod Taylor, man. I mean, you know, he goddamn punches a goddamn seagull at the end with the end assault. At the end of the film, when Rod Taylor starts nailing that dresser or that cabinet thing up to the door, I couldn't help but see that this film maybe had some kind of effect or inspiration on Night of the Living Dead, and also the fact that Night of the Living Dead is, you know, there's something unexplained about it, that the phenomenon of Night of the Living Dead is just as unexplained and mysterious as the phenomena in the Birds, you know. And at the end of the Birds, the film kind of turned into a siege film, you know, just like Night of the Living Dead. You know, there's something very wild. As I said, I just keep thinking of it, how wild and unique, and how much I really appreciated this film. How great I thought it was, really. And I love the conclusion of the film, the enigmatic, unexplained. Just it ends, and you know, I mean, just the Universal Pictures logo comes on, and then the lights go up. The theater lights, and everybody's like, what? You know, it's like seeing it on a big screen. You just see the effect of it. You just, whoa, wow, that just hits you. It hits you, you know. I love the opening credits with the birds going back and forth against a white background, silhouetted. So great. I don't think this film in its initial release was really well understood. I mean, it came after Psycho, and everybody, I think, was wanting another Psycho. And this is I think, definitely a horror film, but unique and unmatched and very puzzling and enigmatic film. Yeah. Oh my God, great. Man. Great film, The Birds.